Hi Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday's maths lesson. Today we are starting a unit on fractions and we are going to look at comparing and ordering fractions today. First of all, what is a fraction? Have a little think. What would your answer to that question be? What is a fraction? Okay, so a fraction is a part of something. Parts of a whole. A fraction is less than one, less than a whole number, and it shows parts of the whole. If we take a look at this fraction here, this is 3/4. I've got 3 on the top and 4 on the bottom. My top number of my fraction is called a numerator, and this shows us how many parts that we have. The bottom number, the 4 here, is called the denominator. And that shows us the total number of parts in the whole. So 3/4 is less than a whole. If I had 4/4, I'd have the whole thing, but I've just got a fraction of that. I've just got 3. That's the number of parts I've got. If I was going to demonstrate that with this diagram below, okay, I've got 4 parts. So that's my denominator. I've split into 4. And my numerator is 3, how many parts I have. So I would shade 1, 2, 3, okay, and that would show those are 3/4, okay, so that's less than the whole shape, but this much of it is 3/4. So pause me to have a go at these questions. Can you work out by looking at the diagrams what fraction of each shape is shaded? Remember, the number on the top is how many parts you've got, so how many shaded parts, and the number on the bottom is how many parts you've got in total. Pause me and have a go and then come back for the answers. Okay, so A, if I'm trying to work out my fraction, I look how many parts have I got shaded. I've got 1, that's my top number, my numerator, out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would say that as 1/5. Let's look at B. 1, 2, 3 parts I've got, 3 parts shaded, that's my numerator, over total number of parts, 5. I would say that as 3/5. If I'm writing this diagram as a fraction, how many parts have I got? 1, 2, 3, 3 shaded, 3 is my top number, my numerator, over total number of parts, 4. 3/4. And then D, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded, so 4 parts that I have. 4 is my numerator, over a total number of 7, 4/7. Well done if you got those right. Let's have a look at what's next. So we need to be able to match up equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions have the same value, they are worth the same amount, even though they might look different. The diagram that I've got here helps to explain that. If we think of these in terms of parts of the whole circle, they're all exactly the same. Half of the circle is filled. However, this circle split into 2, so it shows 1/2. This circle split into 4, and I've got 2 of those parts shaded, 2/4. And this diagram split into 8 with 4 shaded, 4/8. But all of those 3 fractions are equivalents. They are all the same. We want to have a look over on this side now and see if we can match up the fractions that are the same. You are going to have to use your times tables now. If you have a look at my example over here, to work out what's the same, I can either multiply up or divide down. So to find an equivalent fraction to 1/2, if I times the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2, I'll get from 1/2 to 2/4. They're going to be the same. Okay, if you times numerator and denominator by the same thing, the fraction you get will be equivalent. If you divide numerator and denominator by the same thing, the fraction you get will be equivalent. But you have to do the same thing to the top and the bottom, the numerator and denominator. Example, if I take this 4/8, if I divide both by 4, I'm going to get 1 over 2, 1/2, and they're equivalent. Let's look at these together and we'll work through them together. So 3 over 21, what's that going to be equivalent to? So I do need to know my times tables so that I can see what can I divide by here. Can I divide both by 3? Yes. Now 3 divided by 3 would give me 1, and 21 divided by 3 would give me 7, which means that 1/7 is the equivalent. If I look at 9/27, again, if I'm knowing my times tables, I'm trying to find a number that they'll both divide by. Okay, I could pick 3, but I want the highest one, so I'm going to pick 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1, 27 divided by 9 is 3, so that's a match. 8 over 32. Again, I'm going to try and divide by 8. I know that 32 is in the 8 times table, so it will work. 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 32 divided by 8 is 4. And that leaves my last one, 9/54 and 1/6. Okay, let's have a little look at this further as we try to order and compare. So pause me here and have a look at the number line. Can you continue to count up in 6ths on this number line and tell me what would end up at the 3 arrows? If that proves really, really easy, then try to use some of your equivalent fraction knowledge and work out where these would go on the number line. Pause me there and do one of those 2 tasks. Okay, if you were counting up in 6ths, then you will have found you've got 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6 at C. And then I'm going to carry on 5/6, 6/6, or 1 whole. Then it would go, we could go 7/6, 8/6. That's fine. Or I know that 1 was there, so this would be 1 and 1/6, 1 and 2/6. Either is fine. And carry on. So it could be 1 and 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, 1 and 5/6. Or if I'd have carried on in the other way, 8/6, 9/6, 10/6, 11/6. That's quite hard to say. Right, either one of those would be right, so well done if you got those. Now, trickier than that is using your equivalent fractions here. So 2/3 is not going to feature on this number line because I'm working in 6ths. However, I can think, what's my equivalent in 6ths? So let's turn 2/3 into a fraction over 6. So if I want 6 at the bottom, I'm going to have to times 3 by 2. I always need to do the same to the top and the bottom. That is really important. So I'm going to do the same here. And I will see that 4/6 is the equivalent. So 2/3 is on the red arrow. Now, 1 and 5/6 is already here. So I know that that was the green arrow. And therefore the orange arrow will be 16/12. And I can check that because I wanted it to be a fraction over 6, but I had a fraction over 12. If I want to take it to 6, again, I'm going to divide now because I'm getting smaller, but I would have to divide 12 by 2. And I always have to do the same to the top. So 16 divided by 2 is 8/6, which is what we worked out would be there. So well done if that's the answer that you got. Super. Okay, quickly now I'm going to talk about ordering. Okay, so this question asks you to order the fractions in an ascending order. Now the word ascending means going up. So you start with the smallest and you end with the largest. That would be ascending order. The opposite of ascending would be descending. So if something goes in descending order, it will go from largest to smallest, getting smaller. Pause me here and see if you can order these fractions. What you have got to do is get them all to have the same denominator first, the same bottom number first. So multiply them up until they've got the same bottom number. To give you a hint, I would use 20, okay? I'm looking at all my denominators, 5, 4, 10, 5, 22, and I'm thinking, what number is in all of those times tables? And it is 20. So take each of those and make them fractions over 20. Then you'll be able to see which is the smallest and which is the largest. When you put them in your final order, you need to put them back as the originals. If this feels too hard for you, don't panic. There's an easier version. These numbers at the bottom, these fifths, 3/5, 1/5, 4/5, 2/5, I want you to put them in order. So which one of those, they're all over 5. Which one of those numbers at the top, which one is smallest, and then put them in order from smallest to biggest. Pause me there and have a go at whichever one you feel is at your level. Okay, hopefully you managed that. Let's have a little peek at the answers. Oh, they're just slightly out of view. There we go. So 2/5 would have been the smallest. Let's do this together. 5 times 4 is 20. So 2 times 4 is 8, 8/20. 1/2 was the next biggest. 2 times 10 is 20. 1 times 10 is 10. So I can see 10/20 is bigger than 8. 7/10 is next. 10 times 2 is 20. 7 times 2 is 14. 3/4 was next. 4 times 5 is 20. So 3 times 5 is 15. 4/5 is last. 5 times 4 is 20 and 4 times 4 is 16. So 16 over 20. Okay, absolutely well done if you got those right. If you tried the easier one, then you should have got the answer 1/5 as the smallest, then 2/5. Oh, I was doing so well with my pen skills until then. Then 3/5 and then 4/5. Right at the end, my pen skills fail me. So well done if you got those right. Your job now is to go and have a go at the worksheets. So there's lots of options. There's one which just says compare and order fractions worksheet. And within that, there are 3 difficulty levels. Okay, you will need to apply what we've done together in this lesson. If that feels hard, if you found this whole lesson a bit tricky, there is a sheet which says compare and order fractions easier version. This will give you some shapes to colour your fractions in to visualise which one is harder, which one is bigger and which one is smaller. Please pick the one that's at your difficulty level. If you need to do the easier one, that's absolutely fine. There are answers within the sheet so you can check how you're going and then you can try something harder if you're feeling confident. Please drop me an email if you need help with anything. 6W, Miss White is in school, so if you need immediate help, she probably is not going to be able to email back. You are welcome to email me if you need help with anything today. I know that fractions are a little bit tricky. I would rather we were together in school teaching them, but please have a go today and we'll come back and we'll do some more tomorrow. Okay, good luck. Have a great day. See you soon.